Yeah, but we're talking towards each other, so.
Yeah.
So we're here on our couch. You might hear the rustling of the blanket. We're cozy in our cozy clothes. You know, don't have to like look good for a camera or something. We filmed the other day, but I said so many times that I said no, I'm not putting this online.
And you just said,
and I just said it again.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can avoid saying it in this podcast. I'm sure I'll say it, but I'm trying really hard to cut it down a little because it doesn't help with me sounding like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I think it's fine. It's the way we talk, but yeah, I understand how it can sound
Right.
monotonous. I don't know, repetitive or
Repetitive, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing I realized is I just don't have a very good vocabulary, and I don't know how to express myself very well through talking, which is different than you. You're very comfortable talking, but for me, I'm not as comfortable like expressing myself because I guess when I hear other people talk, they sound so professional and they just have a flow and way that they sound, and I just can't do that. At least now, I'm sure I could learn.
Oh yeah, it's something you can learn. I mean, it is. For example, I say "I mean" a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean this. I mean
and
that.
In Spanish, it's "o sea."
Yeah.
Yes.
And it comes. Yeah, I'm replacing things that I would say in Spanish that are not that bad. With I mean like. I also say quite a bit, but then I also have I have viste that I say in Argentina, and like I made fun of saying things like that too.
I'm sure there's a name for those types of sayings, like understand, or you know what I'm saying. That type of thing. It's like we want to be understood as humans, and that's why I felt like when I watched myself talking, I could just see my insecurity coming across as I said those things. Is when you're confident speaking, you don't say all the time because you don't need that validation coming from the other person.
These are just filler words.
Filler words, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They don't mean anything. It's just something to give you a break to think what you're gonna say next.
Yeah, that's
without
true.
really pausing.
That's true. Yeah. And I feel like I would pause a lot, and then when I'm thinking about speaking to somebody in a podcast, I want to keep their attention, and so I feel like I have to speak faster when in real life I wouldn't be speaking that fast.
Yeah, you're kind of nervous about it.
Yeah, I'm thinking too much.
You're always thinking too much, but...
Right. Yeah, so that's the intro. We wanted to come back and we want to do a podcast, but it was too much for us to try to film it, edit it, and get it out every week. It just is really hard with our schedule and life, and so we just stopped doing it.
It became hard to really find subjects to talk about when it came to real estate investing. At one point I felt that we weren't saying anything new.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we could easily come up with a lot, but I guess maybe that was part of it, but I feel like I have to sneeze. I don't know. Most of it was just, this year has been a hard year for us, and that's what we wanted to talk about. Oh shit, I said it again. Oh, I'm really trying to be aware of it. And when it starts coming out, and then you're like, yeah. So, anyway. It's been a hard year.
Yeah, it's been a hard year. It's been a year of a lot of changes, a lot of learning.
Yeah.
And we want to start off this first comeback podcast with telling everyone where we've been, how we've been, and what we're going to do next.
Yeah, what we're going to do next. For sure, we need to talk about that. And I feel called to be more vulnerable on a social platform, and I think Marcos as well. He doesn't feel called, but I'm going to force him. I'm going to force him because it's hard when you're in this business where you feel like you're supposed to know everything. And when you are vulnerable and you say, well, I don't know everything and I'm just trying my best and out there doing it step by step, just like everybody else, you don't want people to think that you can't help them, you know, which is dumb because I just said, you know, again, which is dumb though, because I don't think people will think that. Everybody wants to feel connection and that they can identify with you.
Yeah, at the same time, like, you expect the professional that's representing you to have the answers that you don't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that more than I don't know, in what I usually say is like, oh, that's a great question. Let me figure that out. I don't think I've said I don't know to a client ever.
Yeah. Well, I'm okay with saying I don't know.
Yeah, well,
and that's
I'm
the
working
difference between us. It's I don't know, but I want to find out, obviously.
Yeah. And there's always a first time for everything.
Yeah. So, 2023 started off with us
taking a vacation,
and then Marcos came back and started a 9 to 5.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
No, but we needed the stability after a rocky last 6 months. I mean, it was more, I realize now, more than like actual an actual need to get the job. It was a lot of psychological.
Yeah, because the past, I mean, I guess you've had the job, but it hasn't really changed since you got it. You know. I said you know again. Just bear with me here.
Yeah. She'll get over it.
I'll bear with myself here.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was something, I mean, it was a job in insurance. I know insurance very well. I've done insurance for 9 years, and it was fun even at the beginning. It was a nice change. I felt like I got weekends back and like afternoons back.
Yeah, and you did really well. You had a lot of sales.
Well, yeah, to this day. I do very well there.
Yeah.
With sales. I mean, that's the easy part about the insurance business too. It doesn't take a lot to be successful, or at least not compared to real estate. I mean, I don't want to undermine any agent out there. It's not that it doesn't take a lot. It does take a lot, depending on what level you want to.
But everybody needs insurance.
Yes. I mean,
That's
it's easier to get a client to sell them insurance than to get a client to sell them a house.
Yeah.
But
the commissions are a lot lower.
Yeah. Yes. So it's a numbers game. So it is a lot of work, and then I was fine with it, and then I wasn't. It's kind of funny because I got that job, and I think it was like just a month later we had like, I don't know how many closings, one after the other, and I thought to myself, well, I'm just gonna work the rest of the year to make the exact amount that I just made in this month.
Yeah, and that doesn't feel good.
No.
It's like, wow, I'm giving away my freedom for that.
Yeah.
Because when you've made so much more than that, money is, you look at it differently. And what's more important, that or time or freedom?
Yeah, or if I'm gonna spend that amount of time, why not spend it in creating more months like that,
Yeah.
where I can make what most people
Which,
making?
yeah. So that brings to the next point, which is, yeah, you can spend your time creating more months like that, but it's a hustle
It
that
is
is exhausting. And you don't actually have freedom because you are held hostage by what other people decide to do.
correct, especially in real estate.
Yeah.
Like, sellers need to sell, buyers need to buy, and is
But
it that
how
you're
many?
held hostage by their decisions, basically?
At least that's how I feel. I think we have a little bit of a different perspective, but I don't like that we have that in real estate as an agent, you have to wait to get paid when you're spending a lot of time, and people think agents do nothing, which is very annoying to me because it's just not true.
Yeah,
Especially us, we really go above and beyond
yeah.
and
No, we
spend a
spend.
lot of time.
Yeah, and it's a lot of time away from family. Lots of especially when it comes to um, those times where most people can see houses or talk about real estate, which is after work,
Mm-hmm.
during weekends. It's always at times where um, I always say I work when most people have fun.
Yeah, which is fine, but that's not all well, I just said it again. That's not all you have to do. You also have to be prospecting on social media, and if you're doing door knocking or cold calling or whatever it is that you're doing.
Prospecting.
Prospecting, yeah,
Yeah, it
all the
is.
time.
Um, it never ends really because you're working with the clients, you're working with your continuing education, you're working to get new clients. It never ends really.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, honestly, 10 years ago, I wanted to be where I'm at right now. I don't think I even
Mm-hmm.
dreamed of being where we're at right now, actually. 10
Yeah.
years ago when I started in real estate. I mean, I feel grateful for that. And I want to make sure that everyone understands that because
Yeah.
I'm not just, oh, it's so hard being an agent. I'm not complaining about it. I'm like, it's
But everything changes. It's always that way. You get to where you want to be, and then you're like, actually, gonna go somewhere else now.
yeah,
It's just like it's just a journey.
yes, it is.
That's just enjoy the journey. It's not about the destination.
Yeah, and it changes because life changes too. 10 years ago, we didn't have kids. So we could have hustled all day
Mm-hmm.
and make millions of dollars, no problem. But
Yeah, and probably would have enjoyed the hustle.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
But the issue is we're not. We have kids, and having kids and hustling, they don't go together. If you don't have your kids in school,
Yeah,
if we had our kids in school, then it'd be a different story. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to sacrifice that. That I want to be with them in their childhood. I want to homeschool them, which we can talk about in another podcast. But so we've just chosen this difficult road trying to run and build a business while homeschooling kids, a business that requires hustle
mm-hmm.
and a high sense of urgency and high sense of motivation. And it's exhausting sometimes.
Yeah, well, and it's especially like I have been doing it this year because it was exhausting always, but not to the point where I felt it this year.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least before we were hustling and at least we were working on our own. Where, like, if we had a week off, we probably would be worried because, like, we were like, oh.
That's the problem is, when you get a break, then you're like, shit, I don't have any business. And then you want to hustle again to get more business, so you really never get a break.
Yeah, and that's the bad part about it. The good part about it is that it depends on what you do. But having on top of this business, and then investing, and then rentals, and then taking care of that for other people too, and then having a full-time job.
Yeah.
I was working.
You have like thousands of new gray hairs now.
Yeah, I look like a reverse Dalmatian.
Yeah, it took a toll.
Yeah. So
not only that, and then we can go back a little bit and tell that we found a house.
Yeah.
And that was very stressful because we didn't know if we were gonna get it because of our loan that we took, and just that whole time, like those months were very stressful. Our kids got really sick during those months. It was like May, I think.
April, May,
and then trying to figure out our loan, and then they're like, oh yeah, you're gonna have this obscene interest rate, and this is gonna be your monthly payment, and we're like, holy shit, are you serious? Okay, I guess we're doing it.
Yeah, I wasn't happy about that payment. I'm not happy about that payment, but
no, but I have a perspective on that I can share another time that I think we'll end up being grateful for it, but depends on the way you look at it, right? That was really it's really disappointing to me in a way. I'm grateful for what we have, and we've worked really hard to get here, but because of the affordability, it's disappointing for me because I could have bought my dream home if homes weren't so unaffordable in the past couple years. Like if we just would have been one more year earlier. Oh, yeah. There you go. Here's your dream home. Now I'm still waiting for my dream home. This is a great house. I'm going to make it look really nice. But it's not going to be my dream home.
Yeah.
I will get it one day. It's not time for me yet.
Well, for me, it's my dream home, except of the fact that it has only a 2-car garage instead of a 3-car garage.
Yeah.
Other than that, I love it. I would live here the rest of our lives. Well, maybe not that much, but
we can't do that. We just, even if we tried, we just can't do that.
Yeah, I remember our first house. There you go.
I didn't even notice, because we just talk like that to each other all the time.
Yeah. But. So the first house, I thought we were going to be there for 5 to 10 years, and
3 years later.
3 years later, we sold it. Yeah, and we worked on it like crazy. It said, like, you did a post the other day about that. It almost makes me cry because it was like our first house. Like, it just.
Yeah, we put a different type of love into that one than we've put into
anything else.
I guess, anything else.
I would say
because we were looking at it. We weren't looking at it with the investment eyes. We were looking at it because we hadn't really thought about real estate investing. We didn't ever think about real estate investing.
I did.
Well, when we bought it, I was never thinking, oh, well, I have to make sure that I don't put too much in, so I might not get it back out. And obviously at that point in time, it was fine because the market was just going up, up, and up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we got our house. We're in our house. We've been doing lots of renovations, and we're going to put money into it, which is nerve-wracking because the market right now, I do not think we could sell it for what we bought it for, but
it is also the fall market.
It's the fall market. We'll see if interest rates drop. Hopefully we can refinance. And
well, I mean, this is the thing though. We're going to refinance if interest rates go down. And if interest rates go down far enough for us to refinance, that means that people are going to go crazy again. And home prices are going to go up. So we either are thankful because we bought it and like interest rates go up to a level that they were in the 90s that nobody ever thought that we were going to see again. And we're still thankful because we're like, oh, well, now that interest rate doesn't sound so bad for this house, Or we can actually refinance and suddenly nobody can buy a house because like now we live in $1 million house. You
That'll
know, even
happen
though
one
it's not.
day in, 20
Oh,
years or something.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure that just the fact, the track record in the history we have with home prices, inflation, counting all that, recession, everything. This,
Well, I don't think there's going to be a crash, but the price of the homes in our neighborhood, homes are sitting, they're dropping their prices, and if we don't have more home sales in this neighborhood when
it's time to refinance.
it's time to refinance, when interest rates go down,
Mm-hmm.
then that's really gonna affect us. We won't be able to refinance, just straight up. We won't be able to.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be stuck with this payment until we can, which probably won't be more than a couple years. Let's be honest, which is fine. We can. By the time we refinance, we're gonna be like, wow, our perspective on our monthly payment's gonna be so different. We're gonna be like, okay, yeah, we've got. Hopefully, we can lower it like $1,000, but
Yeah, the other
we'll
part
see.
that almost makes me want to cry when I think about our first home, because like our mortgage was $950 or something.
Yeah, but
like
we bought that for $150,000 or something.
Yeah, I know.
So.
Yeah, but that was a different era. It was 8 years ago.
I know. Even 8 years ago, this house was a couple $100,000 less.
Yes.
So, yeah. So we bought our house. What do we do after that? Then we been working
Well,
on
we
it.
did renovations on it. We had to move, which was a whole other deal. Like finding the house was stressful too. I mean, that was more fun. Then yeah. But also.
Oh, then the townhome. Our townhome was the next thing.
Oh, yes, the townhome.
We already did a post on that. You can find it on our Instagram. But basically, we had to sell it when we weren't planning on selling it. We did lose a little bit of money. Not a lot, but a little bit. So that was the first time we lost money.
We're lucky.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, we didn't even lose that much money, but and technically the money we lost is just because of loan origination fees and commissions.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
Well, it's not. This year, though, there is a theme in our life that we are spending a lot of money and having to put money into things that were unexpected. Like our air conditioner broke at our rental property back in July.
Probably July, because it was
something.
like 90 degrees outside.
Yeah. So the air conditioner broke, and we're just like, screw it. Let's just add a new air conditioner and furnace, because if we do it all together, because the furnace was like 25 years old.
Not 25, but yeah, 20
I think
something.
it was.
No, because it was original to the house. The house
okay.
is not 25 years old.
Well, whatever. It was freaking old. So we just changed it all. Bye money. What did we get? We get to write it off. And then a couple months later, when was that? Just September? No, it was October.
Yeah, it was October.
The basement
yeah,
flooded.
beginning of October.
Same property, the whole basement flooded.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to rip
Sump
out.
pump broke. Didn't work anymore. We had to replace the sump pump. We had to get rid of all the carpet down there. Luckily, we were able to save sheetrock. We were able to save everything. I acted fast. I was there working all day to get that done. Because nobody had the urgency like I had. When you have half an inch of water in your basement. So we ended up saving a lot of things except the carpet and padding, which I kind of wanted to save it, but
you can't.
You
can't
can't.
save it. It's
Yeah.
stinky and nasty, and
it smelled. It smelled bad. Like it never dried, and
you can't save it. So we're gonna actually this weekend we're gonna be putting some vinyl floors down there in case it happens again, because the sump pump was from 2018, so it was not that old.
Yeah.
And it just decided to quit.
Yeah, and then the plumber that helped me replace it and helped me with all that stuff, he told me that with sump pumps, this is one guy saying, so I don't know. please let us know in the comments if um, this is true or not. But he was telling me that with some pumps, you don't know if they're gonna last a couple of years or 20. And I'm like, oh, great. The one thing
That's
that you
like
want.
really scary. That when you told me that, I was like, I don't want to buy a house that has a sump pump.
Well, our house.
I know, and our house now has a sump pump. Both of our neighbors on both sides had their sump pumps go out, and their basements flood.
Yeah.
And they were telling us this, and then our other neighbor had it happen to them, like just a couple weeks before our investment property had it happen. I was like, okay, the universe is telling me. I had this like feeling in the back of my mind, something's gonna flood. It's gonna be either this house or our property. And
did you have a dream or something like that?
And then the night it happened, I had a dream. That was so weird. I had a dream that the basement was flooding. I don't know if it was like a specific house. It was just a basement was flooding. And I predicted it in my dream.
Well, honestly, now that we're talking about it, it just makes me want to go and buy a sump pump right now. And just have it there just in case. Yeah.
So stuff like that. It happens to everybody if you own properties. Eventually, it's going to happen to you. But it just sucks when it does.
Oh my god.
Especially when it happens like twice on the same property, two big ticket things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know.
And that insurance is not even gonna be there for it because
people ask, well, can't you insure it? No, you can't insure that.
Well, you
said the deductible would be more than
exactly. That's that's a thing. In order to meet the deductible, the destruction would have had to be so much that, and it's not that we had a very high deductible, is that we were able to make it so much cheaper. Why even, if we can make it for cheaper than have it covered by insurance, why even have it covered by insurance?
Yeah.
There's no point of filing a claim because they would give us 0 and then now we have a claim in our history. Don't do that, people. Before you file a claim, make sure you take a look at your deductible. Why does it matter
if you have a claim in your history? Is it like a ticket or something?
Yeah. Your insurance
goes
score
up. Oh
goes
yeah,
down.
you're right. Oh, interesting.
There's something called an insurance score, and each company looks at it differently depending on what it is. Most of the time, you're not. Nobody's gonna say much if you had like hail damage or something that's weather related, or even catastrophe related. It's not that big of a deal. But if you're filing a claim a year, then that's different than having one hail damage every 10 years or something like that. That it just depends. Like I can't say exactly, well, if you file this, it's gonna be this much more. There's no exact science with it because it depends on also your credit score is something that, and people don't know this stuff about insurance. There's a lot of things that insurance companies look at you. They want to make sure that you're gonna pay them. So if you don't have a good credit score, it means that you don't pay things on time, which means that your insurance is gonna be more expensive too.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
Right? It makes sense. But then, people say, well, this is a scam. It's not. Like, for example, right now, insurance is getting more and more expensive in Minnesota. But also, we had been hit with hail damage left and right.
Yeah, so there's more claims, so there has to be more money in the pot so that people can get their roofs fixed and stuff.
Yeah. And the only way to not become a state like Florida or California, where insurance companies are pulling out, like even from Minnesota, there are insurance companies that are pulling out because their losses were greater than in other states and other parts. And it's kind of funny to me when people say, well, but if I pay my insurance, and why am I paying for what my neighbor is doing? That's exactly what insurance is. It's a pool where everybody puts money into. So when somebody has something happens to their house, their vehicle, or them, then you can take money out of that pool.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to have.
Yeah, no, and there's no way. I had a meeting with another agent today, we were talking about insurance and geeking out a little bit, on that. Um, Whatever claim you have, the amount of money that you pay into insurance, it probably never will equal to the claim that you just had.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna have.
So it pays itself.
Yeah, it pays itself in 10 times more.
Especially if you get a new roof, man.
Well, if you get a new
And
roof, siding, or something like that happens, if your house burns down, if your house, for whatever reason, whether it is fire or whatever, if you have to rebuild your house, you're not gonna pay that to insurance in premium, even with the increase that you're gonna
that
get.
happened to our neighbor.
Yeah.
Their whole house burnt down and they got a brand new house. I mean, you never want that to happen to you, but their house looks great.
Looks amazing, right?
Yeah.
Well, and you can do certain upgrades if you, on top of what you had, you pay a little bit extra.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's not always easy. And how did we end up talking about insurance?
Yeah. Well, that's how our conversations are. So if you like it, then you can stay around. If you don't, then...
Yeah, you can skip to certain parts.
If you know, especially if you know Marcos, I try to keep him on track a little bit, but then I know that like I get way too type A, where I'm just like, ding, 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 it has to go this way, and then like it just becomes annoying. So then I try to be like chill and be like, okay, I'll let him talk about this, even though inside I'm like, okay, please stop talking about that. Anyway.
I need to be kept on track, though.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, so that brings us to our next topic, which is we have been feeling like we need to redirect our business, reinvent ourselves, and just start a new... It's not completely new, but do things a little differently, I think, is more how I would describe it.
Yeah, it's doing things differently more than doing new things. We have been doing this just for free. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we want to start charging for consulting. We want to be consultants more than anything, more than realtors. We want to be real estate consultants, and we want to help people and put all of our energy into that instead of try to split it between being a realtor and doing all these other things that get muddled in there, trying to like prospect and everything. It doesn't feel right to us. Like, we feel our real talent is in that, and passion mostly too is the main reason why, is because we could do that all day, every day.
And it's kind of funny because
we didn't get old.
Yeah, it always was in everything we have for Milagro Homes too.
Yeah, I know, it's funny. Yeah, we call ourselves real estate consulting professionals from the very beginning, and we never thought of being consultants, because we were like, how people pay for that? Like, people would pay for us to do something we love like that? Sometimes there's this just belief that you have to work hard to get paid, and we're trying to let go of that, because that's not the life we want. We want to enjoy this life with our kids, and we do things a little bit differently. So, yeah. Yeah, we want to get, so I'm just looking at my notes, like we want to get, main thing is we want to get paid for our time, and not have to either wait to get paid or just never get paid, because it's happened to us where we just don't get paid
several times,
many times, and some people, we've spent many hundreds of hours with them, and we don't get a single cent.
And knowledge that we gave them, and basically educated them in real estate investing, and they never buy a house, and it has happened too, they buy a house with a different agent. After all the resources we shared and all the knowledge, it's like, oh, great, thank you for
We wasted our time.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the harsh truth. Like it, and that's just how this business is.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing against those people. That's how this business is, and I don't like it. I don't like that because I want to feel like my time is valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And because it is valuable, especially when we have 2 kids growing up, they get older every day, and I don't want to miss the moments anymore.
Yeah. In 10 years, they're not going to want to hang out with us anymore. So we need to take advantage of the next decade here with them. And if we have to sacrifice money in order to do that, then we have to do that.
I don't even think we will. I mean, it's going to be different trying to do this and see how we get clients. Especially, we of course have our insecurities, and like the imposter syndrome comes up, and we're like, who's going to hire us?
Yeah, well,
they have already.
It's
just already. That we gave our time away for free.
Exactly.
So
we got paid for it, with several clients through commissions, and that's the way that we were okay with. And then we started thinking about breaking it down in 2 hours, and that's when it started getting a little bit more underwhelming, and thinking, well, there are agents out there that are doing a third of the work that we're doing and getting paid just the same.
Yeah.
So
that's up to us to change.
Oh, 100%.
And so that's why we're making that change, because everyone's going to be happier, and then we can dedicate more time to these people who come to us. They'll be ready. Maybe they want to figure out how they can raise money or something. It doesn't matter what it is. Maybe a lot of people that we help, maybe they weren't ready to buy something.
Correct.
And so, it would have been nice to just get paid for our time for helping them. And then once they're ready to buy something, we will still have our license and we will still help people buy.
Correct.
But that brings to kind of the next idea that we have, which is referrals.
Well, and creating a team.
And creating a team, yeah.
A team that is not just the 2 of us, but actually more agents. And that's what another thing that we're working towards, to not only the consulting part of it, but also making sure that we have people and other agents available to help those people, and experts in certain areas as well.
Yeah. We want to have people on our team. They don't necessarily need to be like we're, toying with the idea of having a Milagro Homes team, or just having a list of people who we work with, who we give referrals to, who we know are experts in different areas of real estate, which we're not experts in every area of real estate. For example, commercial real estate, we would need to refer someone
definitely
to a commercial.
We understand realtor. Enough to be dangerous, but not enough to really not need help.
Yeah, so we would like to, that's what we want to do. We want to kind of have this funnel with people come to us. We want to help you. We want to help you believe in yourself and help you achieve those goals. I think that's something we're really good at, is like coming up with possibilities and seeing things in a different way than other people, and that can just help people change their mindset, bring them closer to what they're wanting and what they're looking for, and then we help them find the right people that help make that dream a reality. Yeah, because we know so many people.
Yeah, and there's so much out there that is not going to help you. So many different schemes out there that are going to take 10, 20, 50 grand, sometimes not even all that much, but they're worthless.
Unless you take action. And maybe that's where we come in, is I think we could just be that catalyst for people who need help taking action. Because if you're paying for somebody to consult with you, you're more likely to take action. Exactly.
It's the same basis behind paying for a gym membership.
Yeah, totally.
If it hurts you, if you're paying for, I don't know, if you're paying $120 a month or $200 a month for a gym, you are gonna show up enough to justify that money.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the same thing if you pay for consulting. You're gonna at least you're gonna get a deal that much faster. Not only because of the support, but also because you're motivated and you're in that energy.
Mm-hmm. You're putting the intention out there and the ball in motion. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing too, is when you hire a consultant, you have not only your own mind, but now with us, 3 minds putting that energy into motion. You know, a little bit esoteric, but Marcos and I believe in all that esoteric stuff. Mm-hmm. And so that's how we want to help people. I just think there's a lot of people right now who are looking for something different and looking to change their life more and more every day. There's a lot of people out there who want to leave that 9 to 5.
Yes. They're tired of where they're at. They're tired of that 9 to 5.
Yep.
They feel that there's something more out there for them. And just as we helped ourselves realize that,
we can help others.
We can help others. And it's not the same thing for everyone. We always say that real estate investing is not for everyone.
No, but if it is, we can help you.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. There's so many ways to invest in real estate, too. So many ways. Mm-hmm. You just have to see what fits your pocket currently, and what fits your needs, your lifestyle, mm-hmm. and what you want to do, what you call freedom, what for you now is freedom. Because going back to the beginning of the podcast, or the episode, you think you want something, and then 10 years later you realize that what you wanted 10 years ago is like, well, actually now I want something else.
Mm-hmm. And it's just how it is. Well, I mean, for us at least. Maybe not for everyone. We're always changing, going to new places, trying different things.
It's evolving, though.
Yeah, evolving, I guess, is a better word.
Within the industry we started in one place, and we're light years away from where we started, and mm-hmm. we just keep evolving with the times, and it is evolving. It's not only changing, but it is evolving because we're scaling up every time that we change.
Yep, we have. Yeah. So I think that was a good podcast for our first one back. Now I have to figure out if I can get on Buzzsprout again and get all this stuff uploaded. Maybe we can get all our old episodes back, because they deleted them all because I wasn't paying the $20 a month. But yeah, we hope that you guys enjoyed this. It's gonna be a little different now than it was before. It's not like we have a ton of listeners, but we hope that someone can find us that needs us. And that is the point of this podcast, is to put our energy out there and hopefully attract the people who need our help, because we want to help you. So you can reach out, you can find our information. I don't know, how would you say it in the podcast, like below in the description.
Right?
Yeah.
That I said leave comments. Can you leave comments in podcasts?
No.
I feel so old sometimes when we're talking about all this stuff, because
we're gonna upload these on YouTube though. They're just gonna have like pictures. So
yeah, we're not gonna do images or filming anymore. Well, maybe sometimes if we feel like it, but it's gonna change a little bit. It's basically gonna be what's the name that you were saying
Well, I was
today?
thinking of a new name, like Late Night Chats with Kirsten and Marcos, but that's a really long name. So,
Yeah,
because we're going to try to do these after our kids go to bed, just sitting on the
yeah.
couch.
So late night chats with tired parents that are in real estate.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my idea. We'll figure something out. For now, it's just Milagro Homes. Or I think it's Minnesota Real Estate Investing, still on Buzzsprout. I have to see if I can change the name, but I don't know.
We are in transition period. This is the episode that is the most transitional of all. It's the first one back. Thank you for listening and staying until the end today. I hope you had something there that made you think, that made you want to change, that made you want to move forward with
Something.
your life.
Yeah, something that you want to do in your life.
Yeah, anything. It could be anything.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit. Think about what you love and let us know what that is.
Okay.
With that being said,
Bye,
have
guys.
a good one. Bye.